What's going on, everybody? Today I'm happy to be bringing you another video about why we set goals but fail to achieve them. And the reason is because the devil is in the execution. And what this means is that the hardest part of goals is obviously not just setting a goal and then being like, okay, these are the steps that I need to do to get to the goal. The hard part is actually doing each one of the steps. Anybody can think about goals, set goals, get motivated and inspired by goals. But the reason that we set those goals and then fail to accomplish them is because we don't know how to execute on those goals. And so that's really the biggest problem with trying to achieve anything in life. And what happens is, this is why New Year's resolutions are notorious for this. You just have like a few aspirations, like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds, 50 pounds. I want to get in better shape, or I want to make more money. And so maybe you kind of have a plan and you start working on it maybe a couple days. Maybe you set a plan but don't even work on it at all. It's pretty common. Or maybe you work for a couple weeks, maybe even like a month, but then you just lose motivation, you give up. And the reason is because it's so easy to set a goal, but it's hard to accomplish a goal. And so what happens is during New Year's resolutions time, for some reason, people like to think like, oh, new year, new me, or whatever. And we try to set it then because it's kind of like a good starting point. But if you can set a goal anytime, that's just like in our heads. Like it doesn't matter when you set the goal. And the problem with that time is that it's such a common time to set goals. You don't really think that clearly about what kind of goals you actually want to achieve in your life. And more importantly, is that you don't know how to execute on the goals you've set. And that's what I learned when I first started the whole self-development journey is that, I would set huge goals for myself and fail to achieve them. And then I would be like, oh man, well that sucks. And then I try to set a different goal and I'd fail again. And set a different goal, fail again. I would try for a couple weeks, just exactly like I've been explaining. I would try like a couple weeks, a month, maybe 2, 3 months, and I would give up. I wouldn't get the results I was looking for. I just wasn't able to get there. And I would just give up on the goal. And I started realizing like this pattern just keeps repeating over and over again. There has to be some sort of solution to this problem. Like, why does this keep happening to me over and over again? Why does this seem to repeat in cycles over and over and over again? And I realized that it's because we're not able to execute on it, which is doesn't really mean anything. Like what? So what's the point? And the point is that what causes us to be able to execute is one thing, and that's our mindset. I realized that in order to change in our lives, we need to be able to change our mindset. And really, that's what we have to be able to do in order to change in life is to change our mindset. A lot of people have success in personal development backwards. They're like, oh, I want to work towards this goal, so I'm going to start like working on these things to get there. And that makes sense logically. And you can achieve success that way. And it's not saying that people have never done that because it's fairly common. But that's the wrong way to look at it. You want to work on yourself, like build yourself to that point, and then let the results follow. And that's how you achieve success. That's the easiest way to achieve success because if you build yourself to that point and then let the results follow, the one of the reasons that works so much better is because if you just do the actions that try to get you there, sometimes you're going to fail. And if you did all those actions, you're like, well, what happened? I did everything right. How did I not end up where I wanted to be? And then you'll just quit and give up. But if your mindset is so strong, you're already there and you're just waiting for the results to show up, you won't get motivated when they don't come the first time. Like if your mindset's already there, you're just kind of waiting. You're like, oh, well, I need to be a little more patient and the results will come eventually. And so, yeah, basically the big shift in my life that I had was that you need to start building your mindset before you're going to achieve the results you want. And that's why people fail on it. And when they set these goals, is your mindset, you can kind of think of it as like your foundation. Your foundation's here, and that's your mindset. And when you try to set a goal, you try to elevate your life situation. Well, you're always going to fall back to your foundation. And it might be a week, a month, a year, even sometimes a couple years, but you usually end up, not always, but you usually end up back at your foundation where you started. And so you need to build your foundation strong, and you need to build it higher. And so that's what, when you work on your mindset, you elevate your foundation. So now it, your baseline results are where your mindset is. And so what you try to do is elevate your mindset so that your results, even if you have bad results, they bounce off your higher foundation, and then you can keep going upwards from there. And so that's really the key to success. And the reason most people fail to achieve their goals is because they can't execute on them. And what I mean by not being able to execute on it is, so say you're trying to lose weight. Let's just say a specific part of your plan is run 30 minutes every day. And that's all fine and dandy to write in your planner or whatever notebook you're using, or just keep stored in your head like, oh, I'm going to go on a run 5 p.m. tonight. Well, 5 p.m. rolls around and you're like, oh man, I had a really hard day at work. I got into a fight with my boss. Things aren't great between me and my spouse. Like, it's just been such a long day. I don't really feel like going on a run. I'm not able to do it today. I'll do it tomorrow though. I'll run a little extra longer tomorrow, and that'll make up for it today. And that's the kind of traps we get ourselves into, and that's why the hardest, like, the execution comes down to the decision right before you have to do something. And that's literally like all of success is boiled down to that single moment. And success is just a series of making those right decisions in that moment over and over and over and over again over a period of years. And that's really all success boils down to, is you always have a decision in the moment between like doing what you know is right and doing what you know is easy. It's kind of like you have the two people on your shoulder with the angel and the devil, and one's trying to tell you like, oh, go on a run. That's what your plan was, and the devil's on the other side, like, man, you really had such a hard day. You deserve pizza. And a lot of times we're just like, yeah, you know what? I do deserve pizza. I did have a long day, and I ran yesterday, so why do I need to run today? Well, the answer is because that's not your plan. If you don't stick to your plan, what happens is, well, what usually happens is, if you, the first time you break, like in this instance, say you like get pizza that night, well, you pretty much just sealed your own destiny. Like, you're probably not going to be able to achieve the goal now, because then the next time that this decision point rolls around, you're like, oh, okay, I need to go on a run. You might do it, but now your mind knows that you can break pretty easily, and it'll make it easier. The little devil he'll realize now, like, oh, all I have to do is try to give him this or tell him this and try to do this, and then he's not going to go on a run. And it's really weird how our mind works. And basically, when I say to upgrade your mindset, what it essentially boils down to is, like I said, right before you go on that run, you're kind of in a negotiation process with yourself. And this little devil is going to be telling you all this stuff like, oh man, I'm too tired. I don't want to go on a run. I don't feel like going on a run. I went on a run yesterday, or I'll run twice as long tomorrow. There are literally hundreds of different things that can stop you from going on that run. And that's what your mindset is all about, is you have to be able to identify what your biggest things are and be able to like combat them in your own mind. So it's all a mind game. It doesn't really have anything to do with what's happening externally. It's all about you, because nobody is like, you have 100% direct control over whether you go on a run or not. It's not like anybody's like physically restraining you and be like, no, you're not going on a run. You have complete control over whether or not you're going to do that. So the only thing that has any influence over that decision is you and your mindset. So it's all a mental game that you're playing with yourself. And what happens right before you make that decision, like I said, is you're basically in a negotiation between what you know is right for you and what you want to do. Like, what the path of least resistance is, what the easy thing to do is. And the way your mind works is it tries to get a lot of different, it has hundreds and hundreds of different ways to get you not to go on that run. And upgrading your mindset is about identifying literally each like little specific tactic that is used and combating it. And That's why I've created a tool that I use called the Transformation Notebook. And that's literally exactly what it does. It takes the best practices in psychology, and you have to be able to identify these things yourself. That's really one of the biggest things. But once you can identify them, then you can use battle tested psychological principles to get rid of these thoughts or change these thoughts and try to eliminate them from stopping you from going on that run. And so over time, you get better and better at this, and your mindset goes up and up and up and up, and you're more consistent, you're more reliable, you are more effective, and that's really the secret sauce of achievement and success, is to upgrade your mindset. And so I guess that pretty much sums up everything I wanted to cover in this video. Basically, the idea is that the reason we set goals and fail to achieve them so often is because we forget the number one most important thing is our mindset. And because we forget about that, we're not able to execute. And the devil, like I said, is in the execution. And we're not able to execute on our goals because we don't have the proper mindset. So the next time you set a goal, don't focus on what do I need to do to get it done. For some reason we feel so much better when we just like have everything laid out on paper, and that is a great thing to do so that you know exactly what you need to do in order to accomplish a goal. But the problem is when it comes time to execute on what you've written down, what your plan is, we're not able to. And so the next time you set a goal, don't focus as much on the plan. Well, you can focus as much on the plan, but know that the planning is not the hard part. Just because you have a plan, just because you have a goal, doesn't mean anything. If you can't execute on that goal, it's pretty much worthless. So focus more on your mindset and the things that are stopping you from achieving your goal, and work on those things, because those things are the things that are going to actually allow you to accomplish that goal. Of course, the things that, like the plan that you had, is what's going to achieve the results that you're looking for. You're not going to be able to achieve those things unless you work on your mindset. So just keep that in mind next time you set a goal. I guarantee you'll have much better results. And if you're interested in what I was talking about, the Transformation Notebook, I'm releasing it as part of my a new Kickstarter project I'm launching. It's called the True Potential Planner. So it's basically how to structure your day, plan your day, and most importantly, to upgrade your mindset to be able to get the things done in that day, like I've been talking about. That's exactly what this thing is designed to do. It's really designed to get one thing, and that's results. If you can't get the results, if you can't execute on what your goals are, there's really no point. So I kept having this problem so many times in my past, I really needed to figure out a solution for myself. And now that I've done that, I'm trying to give back to people and help other people be able to get results in the same way that I have. So not only will this True Potential Planner upgrade your mindset, it will show you how to structure your day. And it's basically a step-by-step process that will show you exactly what you need to do in order to achieve success. And that's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks so much for listening. Stay tuned for tomorrow, and I will put out another video for you guys. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.